You have to do the noise now.
I was like, I couldn't think. I couldn't think of it. All right, let's do this.
All right, go.
Hello, everybody. Why is the first hello the most awkward? To switch from like silly to hi everyone, welcome to On the Lamb podcast. It's the most awkward transition. There is no segue really.
No.
Yeah. All right. Hi. Welcome. Welcome to On the Lamb Designs podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop whoop. I'm NalediS.
I'm Timu.
We are sisters.
Yeah, buddy.
We're from Canada.
Ontario. Canada's a big place. Canadians understand. You can't just say you're from Canada.
We're from Canada, eh?
All right, that just happened. We're from southernish Ontario. Not sunny, snowy, southern Ontario.
Perpetual winter. We're like entering into an ice age, it feels like. Literally.
Yeah. Post ice storm, southern Ontario.
Yeah, so thankfully I am back in Collingwood because there was a little bit that I was wondering, are we just going to have to do this episode in Cambridge?
You're going to have to move in now.
Yeah, we went, my kids and I went to Cambridge to visit Tamu's family. My oldest boy and Tamu's oldest boy are best buddies, and they needed to see each other, so we made that happen. And then we got there, we planned for one overnight, so we each only had one extra pair of underwear, and it ice stormed, so we were there for 3 nights instead. I have to say though, that's the only place I'd want that to happen. There's nowhere else that I would want to be stuck. Like there was a moment where I even thought like, yay!
Yeah.
And also, oh.
Yeah, it could definitely be worse for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the only thing that's like, it's like it would be fun if it was just you and I. It was like a little bit of, it was work because all the kids were here. And my husband, well, your husband was still at home. My husband was in and out a lot because his company does snow removal. So of course they had to go plowing and salting and all that fun stuff. So there was a lot of time of just 2 moms and 5 kids, which sounds like manageable, but it's a lot.
It was totally manageable. We did it. We had a lot of fun. We played a lot of games, and it's like neat to like stretch your creative juices when you're like, I'm so tired and I just want to go outside, but we can't. So we got to think of a game to play in here. We did it.
Yeah. There
was a little bit of yelling too. The worst, it's just like you can't get outside.
Yeah.
All the like crazy energy gets stored inside one place.
Yeah.
And sometimes it comes out as a yell. Then you say sorry and then you keep going. Anyways, we did it.
Yeah. Could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
Could have been better, but it could have been worse.
Yeah.
Anyways, now everyone's back where they belong.
Yeah. And I'm still tired.
Yeah. But yeah, me too. But in all that craziness, we managed to draw a winner for the mega grand prize for our 100 subscriber giveaway. So congratulations again to Hannah, who is someone on Instagram. Dottie's Hearts.
Oh, that's why I thought it was Donna, because it was Dottie.
No, Dottie's.
Congratulations, Hannah. You have
haven't had a chance to send anything out because everything was like basically shut down on Monday, and then trying to get back into the week. So all prizes will hopefully be shipped tonight or tomorrow, and I will message everybody or email everybody and let them know when it is en route, so you can start stocking your postmates.
Yeah.
Your postal carrier, your postal worker.
Yes.
You know what I mean.
I have to say that yarn did not show up well on my screen, but it's beautiful. I couldn't get excited because I was like, "Ooh, what is that?" But no, I got to see it in person. It's really pretty. I'm getting to know now that Cindy doesn't put ugly yarns together.
Oh my God. Did you see her most recent, like one of her more recent, like new colors? It's like
I need to look now.
purples on the outside and gray in the middle. And I was like, oh, I want it so bad. I kind of want to ask her to do a wave, like a boomerang for me with those colors because it's just stunning.
What is it that she's doing that's new?
It was just a new colorway that she came out.
Which one?
It's purple on the outside and gray in the middle.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't go down far enough. That is really pretty.
Oh my gosh.
Sterling
like, outside's like almost glowing. Like it's so beautiful.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really pretty. Sterling Rose. Go and check out Cindy's. So that's pretty. I like that a lot too.
Yeah. There's so many colors of hers that I like, and then like so many colors that I'm like, okay, I would actually use that. And I'm like, but there's just not enough hours in the day for all the things. Like,
no. Oh, I like them all. Like that one too.
Yeah. There's lots that I really like and that I would love to make something with, but then I'm like, I'm not sure I would actually like wear them, like
yeah,
for my wardrobe and stuff like that. But I'm like, I really want to just make something with it because it just seems like it would be fun to go through all the ranges of colors. Because even just from those pictures, like you can see a lot of colors, but when you're really into the ball or whatever, it's a different experience. Like it's, it just, you really like how each strand plays with the others and stuff. It's fun. Anyways.
I want to pick one of hers to do my table. What do you call it? Table runner? Tablecloth? Whatever.
Whatever you're going to make. They're two different things.
Yeah, they are two different things, aren't they? A tablecloth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Waiting for one to just be like, I'm just to like see a picture come up and be like, that's the one. Yeah. So I don't want something too crazy on my table.
Yeah, I could picture something. I feel like she has ones like from way back that were more like light in the middle, like really light and neutral in the middle, and then like gradually go out to just like a little bit of color on the outside kind of thing. I feel like that would be nice for like a tablecloth. Yeah. Or like all color in the middle, like one color, like a green to white or a green to beige or something like that, like. Yeah. It's not like crazy stripes of different colors. It's just like one transition. Kind of thing. Yeah, that's what I sort of feel. You told her like what colors you're interested in and like, look at other cakes she has and be like, kind of like this color, kind of like that color, but then like this she would totally just make something for you. Right. That's how that's the awesome level that Cindy is at. Yeah. Which maybe I shouldn't advertise her custom making skills because then she'll get all bogged down. She won't be able to. Right? That's good for yourself. Yeah. Selfishly keep that secret. All right. And then the other thing we did on the weekend was put out a new pattern. So Stitch with Grit was finally released. So that's fun. And I am going to send Naledi a code so that when she's editing, she can put it on the bottom of the screen so that anybody who's actually watching this can get it on sale for a few weeks. That's exciting because we were talking about not doing it. So this is like new to me and news to me. And that's kind of fun that it's like just for people that really watch this. Yeah. Because we discovered this is not a bad thing either. It's just something to be aware of that like when you post a giveaway on Facebook, and I wonder if it's like using the hashtag giveaway. Some people are just go looking for giveaways. It's not really about connecting with who is putting the giveaway out there. So this is really nice. Like you kind of want the whole idea is to be like saying thank you to people that are right. So it's a bonus for actually watching. Yeah, cool. It's awesome. Yeah. Yay. Woo. Woo. Anyways. If we keep going, we're going to be howling. We're just going to, I just hope you're braced yourself for an hour of howling while we knit. We're still a little bit cabin fevery. I made my kids, we walked to the grocery store yesterday, like had a backpack on my back to like carry our groceries back. Because I was like, we have to do something and we needed food. So the two had to go together. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, just new pattern wise, Naledi is wearing the large version, which is the one she made. If you've been watching previous episodes, that's the pink ink flower. This is the one I did in a week, baby. Yeah, so Wave Radiant. She crocheted approximately 1,100 yards of cotton on like a relatively small gauge in 7 straight days, which is impressive. There's like a badge there that needs to happen. So yeah, that's the wave gradient in the pink ink flower. And then mine is 2 different cakes. So this one is, I think, a 500-yard cake. I think it's called Gray Day. So it's just a gradient from light gray into black. And then this was the Snowflake Heather in the melon colorway, which is blowing out like crazy on the screen, but it's like a subtle kind of peachy, orangey melon, pale orange kind of melony color with a lot of white. So yeah, so it's I think it's a fun pattern. It's a different-ish kind of construction. So you start this way, going across with this triangle, and then you turn it and you go this way, which is like more like a traditional top-down triangle. So it's nice because you can kind of make this triangle stand out, or you can make it blend in more like the one NalediS wearing, and then you could even use like a scrap or a mini skein for this one.
I would not say it blends in.
Well, I mean, it blends in that it's a color from the shawl.
Oh, I got you.
This is like a completely separate, like that was all one cake. We didn't add a mini or anything, whereas this was like a mini, a partial cake, and then this was a whole cake. So if you had like a mini skein and like a regular skein of fingering weight yarn, or 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn, you can totally adjust the size, make it any size you want, as is the case with pretty well all my crochet patterns. Like gauge isn't really important, so just work and get the fabric that you like and the size that you like and go to town.
I think we've talked about it before, but this is like a good place to remind people, when you use one of Cindy's cakes, she designs them all to be center pull. It worked out in this case though. It actually wasn't bad on the keyed up shawl. We went, well,
yeah.
Somebody, I guess I point this way. Tamu did it backwards, but that's okay. This one, I did it backwards, but it worked out. So I started on the outside and realized, no, I think that I'm supposed to have done a center pull. And then Tam and I agreed, you know what, just go start the center pull then when you pick up the rest of it. And I really like that because it's the same color with the rest of it, but like because the center pull started with with the white.
Yeah.
Such an awesome contrast, I believe.
Yeah.
And
this
then
makes the triangle like really boldly stand out, but if you wanted to, just start with the center pull and then it would blend in a little bit more.
Yeah.
Totally like whatever you want it to be.
However you want to do it. Yeah.
And I also created a tutorial for one of the stitch patterns that I used in here. I think I kind of mentioned it before, that I used like a vintage stitch pattern picture that I had found on Pinterest, but I couldn't find like a proper name or tutorial or anything that went along with it. Like I kind of traced it back to this DMC heirloom crochet website, but even now I tried to go back to it to see if I could find anything if I like searched again, and the website heirloomcrochet.com seems to be down. So I created a tutorial using that image because it took me a little bit of playing to try and kind of emulate the fabric that they were showing in that picture. I don't know if anyone's seen those black and white pictures, but anyways, in this pattern there is a link to that tutorial, or if you go on our channel on YouTube, you'll find the tutorial there as well as my other tutorial. And I'll do that from time to time just as I make my own little tweaks and adjust things to work for what I want things to look like. Pop in tutorials that support my patterns. So yeah. What are you working on?
My podcast strip today. I think this was the same podcast strip as last week. I haven't worked on it since. This is just the vanilla socks with the Regia 6-ply yarn in a crazy orange, red, green, gray, a little bit of teal colorway.
They're like Halloween-y and autumn-y at the same time.
I don't know. It's funny because like I was like, whatever. I wanted something. I didn't want to have multiples the same sock. So I picked all the different colorways, and didn't love it in the ball, but I think it looks cute.
Yeah,
I like it. I think
it's like Halloween or something.
It's not too much orange.
Yeah,
that was what I was mostly worried about, was that they'd be like a big, I don't know why, be different than the other ones, but that the orange would be like so dominant and like large sections of it, but
yeah,
it's cute. I think so. yeah, anyway, that's my podcast whip. Not very exciting. I realized like I'm like very careful about what I select for my podcast whip. I've learned that fingering weight, I have to look down a lot because otherwise I'll end up missing the stitches and anything complicated that I'm thinking about what I'm doing. So very carefully select my podcast whips.
Yeah.
What's your podcast whip selection process, Tammy?
Pretty much the same.
Yeah, okay.
Something I don't have to like look too hard at. And I mean, obviously a factor is always like what needs to be worked on, if it has a timeline or a deadline or anything like that. So with that said, I'm trying to keep working away at my test knit for Annie of Boho Chic. Her Stay Wild Moonchild, I think she's calling it, sweater. I don't know why I was feeling a little bit resistant to working on it. I got the back panel done, which was very long, and then was feeling a bit resistant to working on the front, which is kind of how I test knit. If you expect it to be done before the deadline, then don't hold your breath, because I will the closer I get to a deadline, the more pressure I feel and the faster I actually work, as opposed to when I have lots of time. I'm like, oh, I'll do it. Unless I'm like really excited about it or it's a very fast knit. If it's a very fast knit, it's going to be done really fast. But if it's like this, where it's like a longer haul kind of project, I'm probably going to be done like on the due date. Mostly done on the due date.
When is the due date?
The last day of April, whatever that is, 30th.
Okay. So, yeah.
It's not like I don't think it's possible to get it done, but it's just there's times when I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, I should work on it, but I'll pick up something different. And then I'm like, I could have probably sat and worked on it for like a bunch of hours, but instead I was like, I just want to do something else. Do you have any FOs?
Yes, I do. Well, I do. Yeah, you got one of them. Scrunchies and spandex.
Oh, I was like, I have one of your FOs.
Yeah, I left it at your house.
You have my FO.
I know. I was just gonna make a joke about that. I have 2 FOs here.
Oh my goodness. Weekend debacle.
The fraternal twins. This one is Tamu's. It looks really great with that extra. So this one was knit exactly to pattern. This is the Lisa Much Auspice shawl, and I was going to say cal, but we are doing a cal for it. And I noticed I think all 4 of us are done now.
Sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, knit exactly to pattern, blocked, ends not. I did.
Sweet.
I didn't really pin it though. I just sort of laid it out flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought the eyelets are already pretty well open, and mostly it was just to like open it up so that the bind off wasn't so wavy looking. That was really all it was. So just to relax it. That was all. Yeah. And then this is Tamu's. As we mentioned, I was at Tamu's house on the weekend, and it was like on Monday morning. It was like, I have a window of where it's decent to drive home. Like, let's go. Threw everything in my bags really quickly, and she threw in a little bonus for me.
Oh my goodness. Well, so I had this basket that I didn't need anymore that you wanted for whatever whips and projects and stuff. And so in the process of emptying it, I found this project bag, and we had been talking about how you said you needed a bigger project bag, not a sock size anymore. So I found this project bag and I was like, oh, did you want this? And is that where it was in that project bag?
No, it was like on top of everything.
Oh, that's easy.
You know what's dumb? It's like I should have realized, because mine was actually stuffed into the bottom of another project bag. Like it just had a few things in there, and but I saw it on top, and I wasn't really studying the different kinds of yarn. So I was just like, oh, my auspice, thank goodness. And I'm just like, yeah, it was just laying on top.
Yeah, I think it's just I was like, I had finished. So we had started the bind off in the evening, and I was like, oh, I really don't want to do this, but I really want it done. So then the lady had done a big chunk of the bind off for me, because I used my, we both used my garter tab bind off, which I have a tutorial for if you look on our channel. So it's a nice like mimic for when you do like that garter edge.
Yeah.
You have like a garter stitch edge all the way around the top. It like mirrors that all the way around the edge. So it's, kind of like a deconstructed, I-cord bind off. It's super
Yeah.
easy. It's just like an I-cord. It's just time consuming
Yeah.
to other bind offs. But I was like, I really want this done. So Naledi did a big chunk, and then I just finished the last little bit after she went to bed. And then, yeah, I was like walking around. What?
And yours.
What is it? Like a pull or a missed stitch or something?
No, I mean, maybe it's just pulled. Okay, maybe it's just pulled. It just was really looped out.
Yeah. Anyway, so in the morning I was trying to show her that I had finished it, walking around with my shawl on. And then after she leaves, I'm like, oh, I better block that so it's like wearable. I seriously scoured my entire house, all the places I thought I might have gone with it in my hand or whatever, because I have a bad habit of like, you know, like I said, I'm easily distracted. So I'll put something down in one spot, pick up something different and be like, I don't know where I was when I put that down. Yeah, I seriously scoured my house. And then finally I was like, because I said I'd given her that project bag. I thought maybe I put it in the project bag and then without thinking, like handed you the bag. I don't know. So whatever. My shawl took a little trip to Collingwood. Anyways, modifications wise, I'll put more details on my Ravelry project page when I put that together. I knit pretty well to pattern, except as I mentioned last week, my stitch count was off because I accidentally went a little bigger on the first section. But then when I got down to the end, I had like enough of a chunk of yarn of my cake left that I was like, I wonder if I keep going. So what I did was just repeated the eyelet section all the way across the bottom. I actually ended up going 5 repeats. So whatever. If you're following the pattern, it would have been a little bit less if I had like kept going kind of using the same math she had before. I just decided to go 5 because I thought it looked good when I was done. And
yeah, it does.
The yarn amount worked out. And then I did the bind off, and literally the entire cake of yarn is on that project.
Oh, is it? I didn't really know. I don't think I knew that.
I had like a tail probably this long left, and I was like, yarn chicken winning, because I was doing the bind off and I was looking at the what's left and looking at what's left, like, oh, I don't know if it's gonna make it. And then when it was done, I was like, I killed it. That's like seriously makes me more excited than anything in the world when you can use yarn on a project, like, or unless I'm like intentionally trying to save. When I'm intentionally trying to save and I can get like a mini skein's worth left, like minimum 20 grams left, that also makes me really excited. But it's those awkward in between amounts where you're like, what do I use this for? Like, anyways, yarns wise, again, we'll have project pages, but we both use Tana's Fiber Arts. Naledi used Purple Label with the cashmere, the MCN, and I used the Blue Label fingering. We both used the Mona Lisa colorway, which is stunning. And I was really actually excited and like interested to see them both together, which we had them together this weekend, to see how the colorway looked different on the different bases, because the Mona Lisa that I had used was much like before in my, whatever that shawl was called, Divergent shawl. I had used the Mona Lisa colorway, which was actually closer to the cashmere one that you have. Like much lighter. The speckles aren't as like concentrated, and the background is like a grayish, but a little bit of like a yellowy grayish to it. Whereas I feel like on the Blue Label, the speckles are a little stronger. The color's a little more gray, but the base color is like a little bit more gray, but the speckles are more bright. Like
you can tell that this is Tamu's. You can. Yeah. I don't know if it shows that. I don't think it will show well.
You can see the difference in terms of like one's more gray, one's a little bit more like muted and yellow, but
yeah,
you don't see the like pops of color. Like mine looks like it fell in a flower bed. It has like little specks of like floral kind of dots, whereas I feel yours are really like muted and blended in, and they're both just beautiful. Like
they're both gorgeous.
They're so different but similar, but both gorgeous. I love them.
The good thing is I prefer mine. Like I prefer the look of it. The colors wise, you know?
Yeah. I'm happy to have something that's different, because my Divergent, as I said, I'd used 2 colors and one of them was the Mona Lisa colorway. So I'm actually kind of like happy to have something that's different from that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you just keep buying it on different bases. Like, I mean, it's like it's a good neutral, right? Like it could go with anything. And if you buy it on all the bases and it plays slightly different each time, you're like...
that's my favorite, like kind of neutrals. Like I'm not likely to make like say a garment that's all gray or all beige or whatever. I'd like, gray with a few speckles or some tweeds or something that like makes it a little bit more exciting than just a neutral. And that's how I feel about that Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
neutral but not boring. And depending on what you put with it, you could kind of trick the eye into pulling out a little bit more pink or a little bit more blue or whatever. So I'm happy with it. Do you have any other FOs?
Scrunchy and auspice. No, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
I have one more FO, but it's half soaking wet, so I can't bring it up. I made another scrunchie. I'll
right.
picture that you can put in if you want, or I'll probably end up wearing it next week. I made another scrunchie using some yarn that I got in a D-stash. That now I can't remember what the yarn is called, but I'm kind of obsessed with it now because it's reminds me of,
yeah, right. I forgot.
It sort of reminds me of Spin Cycle, Stonehenge fiber mill. It's called Stonehenge. I keep wanting to say henge. Not Stonehenge. It's Stonehenge fiber mill. In their crazy line. So it's all made from mill ends, which thrills me to like beyond belief. I don't know why. I've always thought mill ends and like people who like recycle like offcuts of fabric from major producers. Like I always have thought that that's such a cool thing, you know, something that was otherwise going to be waste.
Yes.
Turning it into something useful. Yeah.
I was gonna say that I can get behind. The possum is still a little bit harder for me to be like, no, it's all gonna go to waste anyway. This I feel
like a natural mill end.
Yes. No, that makes
nature's offcuts. That's like roadkill. Like that's
roadkill fur. I could get behind. I'm just kidding.
Like again, it's not worse. Like it's the same thing basically. Yeah. It just sounds bad. Yeah. Think of roadkill when it's at its worst, not when it's at its freshest. Yeah. Anyways, it's conversation's taken a bit of an awkward left turn.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, Stonehenge fiber mill crazy, which is their mill end. So this skein that I got, and again, when you see the picture, it'll make a bit more sense. In the picture, I thought it was going to like alternate colors, kind of like the Spin Cycle yarns do, like where they change in a more subtle transition. I should show you if you've never seen it or if you haven't watched the previous one. So this is Spin Cycle, and their transitions tend to be a little bit more subtle, like because the way that they, you know, give that hand spun look of two colors twisting together, it's like they can transition a little bit more slowly. Even though the colors are like very different, the transitions are still really gradual. So I thought that that's kind of what was going to happen with this. And what I got when I unskeined it and caked it was like half the skein was red. So there was like two colors of light red spun together, and then it kind of went like a light red and a slightly darker, like more brown red. And that was half the skein. And then the other half of the skein was like, the first section is like pink and kind of a yellow color, like a bright pink and a yellow. Then it went like pink to brown, pink and brown, like a baby pink and brown. Then it went the baby pink and gray. Then it went baby pink and the darker red. So that's how you can see how like it kind of tied in. But I was like, that's a pretty like strong transition from like one section to the next. Is like quite dramatic. So what I did for that scrunchy cowl is I worked from both ends of the cake. So it's like one stripe or one like kind of repeat with the red and then one repeat with the other half of the ball, so a pink or whatever. And I really like how it turned out. Like it's a little like, but I really like it. And it's so soft. I think it's just 100% wool. I'm double checking. Yeah, it says 100% merino wool. Here's what it says on their Ravelry. It says manufactured in Michigan by Stonehenge Fiber Mill. Made from the mill ends of shepherd's wool worsted, 100% merino. All weights, measures, needles, and or hook sizes are approximate as each skein is unique. So it's classed here as a sport weight. I saw it classed somewhere else as a DK. I upped my needle size a little bit, and I'll put all my notes on Ravelry when I get a chance to do that. I upped my needle size compared to the fingering weight version. It's only 230 yards. Yeah, it says they're approximately 230 yards per skein. So it's shorter than our other ones, but oh my gosh, it's so cute. I feel like I'll wear it now, but I really feel like it's going to be like I'll wear it all February because I really like pink and red together. I feel like it's very Valentine's-y in that way. So that's my other FO. But as I said, I blocked it last night quite late, and the bottom half of it's pretty wet still. So I flipped it over, and I don't really want to carry it around when it's attached to the blocking mat.
Yeah.
So, whips.
Yeah.
We got those.
That's those.
Do you have one ready to show, or do you want me to show something?
I do, yeah, with ones right here. So this is the back panel of my Freebird.
Oh
yeah. All right.
Yeah, I forgot you were. I thought about that earlier today for some reason, and then I forgot. And then you said back panel, and I was like, "What do you mean back panel? It only is a back panel."
No, you work it in 3 different sections, but you know that because you did knit it. It looks so long.
Fine, yeah.
Yeah, this is the spine, and it will curl up a little bit too. Anyways, this is sorry, I keep doing this because I'm like, it just seems like it's going to be a monster, and it really will be. It will cover from my from my neck to under my whole bottom. That's a long area. So a big panel. So this is Boho Chic's Freebird Cocoon, the back panel, as I said, and the yarn is Touch of Alpaca by Lion Brand in the taupe color.
Yeah,
I've just picked up last night. I just was able, I cast off the back panel and was able to pick up for the first side, the right side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and I'm using the Chow Goose, and I was like, oh, darn it, because I bought the bent version, but it's fine. There's no problem with it whatsoever. I imagine with like a stickier yarn. Oh, it's gonna stop moving my fingers like that. With a stickier yarn and
totally wasn't even thinking it until you said it.
With a stickier yarn and what?
And the bend that it would be.
The bend together. I guess that would be annoying, but for this project, it's a loose enough gauge. And
what size are the needles again?
5.5.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing. I feel like with worsted weight, like sometimes with like a heavier weight yarn, you can get away with.
Yeah.
With like not always the best, like depending on the yarn, obviously, but
yeah,
I feel like more often I can get away with like not pairing the best needles with the best yarn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's absolutely true. That's what I was thinking. It was smaller weight, but I was like, but this isn't smaller. So anyway, yeah. So stay tuned for more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your cables are really nice. You said that was your first real cable project.
Are they nice?
I don't know, but what I can see, they look nice.
Nice once it's blocked and it's actually open, you can see that detail, because her picture is beautiful, right? You get to be able to see like the ribbing and stuff. Right now it just looks like this.
Yeah, you might have to block it pretty aggressively if you think
I think so too.
That much, because it's mostly acrylic, which doesn't really. I think you might have more success steam blocking it than wet blocking it.
Okay, good.
Because the heat will help to like open, like, you know what I mean? Like help you manipulate the acrylic. Whereas if you just wet it and pin it, I feel like as soon as you take the pins out, it's going to go.
Right. I was wondering that too, actually, because it's so stiff. Like it stretches. You can see it's got good stretch. It's not my gauge is too tight, but just like the fabric wants to come back together.
Well, and cables kind of do that, right? You're adding a lot of extra yarn and stuff.
When you look at Annie's pictures, it's just like,
yeah.
So good. I know it's the material she used. Yeah. This is one shot. I don't see myself knitting this project ever again. It just feels like a chore to like get through each pattern repeat and stuff, but
yeah.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love it. And even if it doesn't open up, it's going to be a super cozy sweater.
Well, the fact that it's already like long enough for you with just this part, it's like just more, now it's just like, will you like making sure you have enough yarn to make it to the end of the project and to get the width that you want on the sides. But at least it's like pretty easy to, like you just did, you can kind of lay it on yourself and test it out a bit.
Yeah.
As you go. because I hate like that when you can't really test out a project size until the end, and then you're like, and now I'm done, and I can't go back as easily. Like,
yeah, I was concerned it would end up being like yours, which yours ended up being smaller than what you ideally would have wanted, right? So that definitely won't be the case. Like the only way that would happen is if, like you said, I ran out of yarn, but I'm pretty sure I could just order more.
I should try steam blocking it. I don't think I did that.
Yours is also acrylic, correct?
It has some acrylic, not as much as yours. It's like some acrylic, some wool, some something else, cashmere, I think, and some silk, something like that. I don't know, because it's like partially recycled yarn, so it's like a mix of stuff.
Right.
But I think if I pin it, I don't even know if I have enough pins to pin the whole thing, but if I pin it and like aggressively steam it, aggressively, I just mean like make sure you get like a lot of steam into all the parts as opposed to just giving it like a quick sweep. That might help. I feel like I need to just suck it up and buy like a garment steamer, because it's a pain to try and steam stuff with my iron. I find after a while the water cools the element down, and then you have to wait for it to like heat back up, and then you can start steaming again, and then slowly it stops steaming, and then you're like, now I gotta wait again. It's a pain. Anyways,
yeah. What do you have on the needles?
I don't have as much. Like I have lots of stuff on, but not stuff that I'm sort of like
actively. Yeah, that's my thing too.
Showed this, so I'll just pop it on again because I didn't show it last week. I haven't really made a whole lot of progress since whenever I showed it last, but just kind of plugging away. Now that it's these long rows, I'm slowing down on it because I have other things to work on, but I'm excited to get this done in the near future. One of my new patterns. Yeah.
Beguile. Oh, just beguile, not beguiled.
Yeah.
Beguile.
I just love it so much. I want it to be done. I want it to be done so I can wear it, not because I don't enjoy working on it.
Yes.
Which again, that's the spin cycle, that one of a like a limited edition. They had Borderland colorway, but it's 100% BFL and it's a little lighter than their dyed in the wool line.
Oh, here's mine. Okay, well, I may as well. That segues into mine. Really isn't much of a whip yet. I cast it on, and I did the first row of the pattern, and I was like, I don't want to think about this right now. My brain, it's just...
Is that only 60 stitches? It looks really long. Could just be the stitches spread out.
I think I've already done it.
I'll have to keep reminding myself that mine is a lighter weight than yours, so of course it's going to be a little different. But
6, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, 58, 60, and then I had you do an increase in the first row.
Right.
Yeah, so.
I believe you. I just say it's because it's a heavier weight, it just looks longer, like it looks larger than mine, but.
It's going to be a very large, very green shawl.
Can you show a skein or a cake or something, or a cake, sorry.
First, I just want you to see I could rock any mustache. Should have been a man.
Even a green one.
Even a green one. Okay, so Tamu scored this yarn since the last podcast. Hold on, I don't know if you want me to show all.
Well, it was probably started before the last podcast, but it arrived after.
It arrived since the last. It is also Spin Cycle. Tell us about how you got it while I'm organizing myself here.
Oh, I just every once in a while, if I'm like interested in something, or I'll fall down a little Ravelry rabbit hole and start looking at like people's colorways and stuff like that, and then notice if anybody's trying to destash any. So yeah, I was on Ravelry, saw somebody was destashing 4 skeins of dyed in the wool, Spin Cycle yarns, dyed in the wool line in the deep bump colorway. They have it marked as 29, which was probably 29 US, and I got it on a pretty good deal. Definitely worked out to be less than if I had bought it locally, even including shipping and exchange and all that good stuff. So yeah, 4 skeins of the deep bump colorway. So there's lots of various tones of green and a bit of yellow and a bit of blue in there. They all look really different because of what colors, like say, landed on the outside of the cake. But when I've seen, one, when I was caking it, and two, when I've seen like people's projects with the deep bump, I think it'll all go together really beautifully. I mean, the way that Spin Cycle makes their yarn, it's all very like hand dyed and hand spun sort of appeal. I think it is hand dyed by them, and then they spin it, but like in a mill. So it's not like one person sitting at a wheel doing it. It's like a larger production, but it still means that there's a lot of like variation and individuality to the skeins, but they're all, you know, especially if you buy them kind of together, they'll all be kind of, you know, similar colorways and stuff. Sometimes it's like you can notice in people's Ravelry project, like something made with deep bump today might look very different from something made with deep bump a year ago, because it's just kind of like how things work out in that production process. But it's going to be a beaut.
I feel like in the podcast we spent a lot of time talking about the colors I don't like. Not a lot of projects have been with my color. I love green.
But it's only because I don't like greens. I don't mind green, but it's not my favorite color, and I'm kind of picky about the greens that I do like.
I would say that for me too.
Yeah, so it's just like crayon box green. I don't really like that green. Like I'll draw with it, but I wouldn't wear that color of green. So it's like I like, you know, teals and sea foams, like green and blue together I really like. Green and gray together I really like. Sometimes green and brown, like an olivey green I like. But so I don't buy a lot of yarns with greens, or it's like green's not the predominant color most of the time. So when I saw this, I was like, I like it. And I see, because of that variation and that hand spun kind of look, I know I will like it. But I was like, I feel like Naledi would enjoy knitting with this too. So I was like, worst case scenario, like either you knit it and give it back to me, the project, or you knit it and then you won't let it go and then you can just buy it off.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I normally, for any colors, with a project, wouldn't normally want like an all green yarn with some like yellow going through it. Mm-hmm. I'm more of like a pops of color kind of person, but it's just fun to knit something that is totally up my alley. I can't get into it yet. My brain's not ready to try the project yet, but next week, I bet you it's going to be like half done by the time we come back next week.
It's going to be so pretty. Oh my gosh.
The brain space. It's going to be gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I'm just like St. Patrick's Day next year. So all I can think about is like, when is St. Patrick's Day? March? Yeah, March 18th, right? Something like that? 16th?
I don't really do.
I'll be wearing this all March next year. Yeah.
But I feel like once it's knit, I could be wrong, but I feel like once it's knit, it's not going to be like green.
I don't think so either.
Green and blue and yellow and like how this is like, when you finally see it, it's not just like purple. Like you really just see like this striping effect, and then
this conversation is
purple, but it's not going to be like, I don't think it'll be too bad. Anyways, I'm
like, I can feel it. I'm like getting excited. So probably I can't work on it today because I'll be spending the rest of my day editing the podcast, but probably later on today, maybe, or tomorrow for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyhow, I'll just sit here holding these like this. And what's next for you?
So I made a little bit of progress on my white light MCal, Sweater Freak Knits, or Jenny F. So I'll show it to you now, but look away if you don't want to see.
Oh, right, the spoiler thing. But I can't think of it. Okay.
Look away for a second if you don't want to see spoiler. I'm not going to like talk about it too much, but I'll just show you where I got to.
Just kidding.
I was like, are you serious? Yeah, so I finished. I'm not going to, so look away. We'll put a timestamp of when to come back.
Keep telling me to look away.
So I finished Clue 1. I thought I had so much left to do on Clue 1. I had convinced myself of like a certain number of repeats, and I was like way overshooting. So I was like, I gotta count again. I better look back at the pattern. I was like, oh, I'm done. So I've just barely started into Clue 2, which I'm already behind. Clue 3 has already been released, so whatever. So I'm into Clue 2. I am now alternating in my second main color that I'm using, because I'm kind of doing a gradient with my main colors. So now I'm starting to alternate that in so I can start transitioning into a darker main color. So again, my yarns, the light kind of teal looking color here, the dark teal, this baby pink that's speckled, and this purple are all mid-knit cravings. I can't remember what they're called, but they're all on my project page. And then main color wise, this really white with just a little bit of black in it is Ash by Lolo Did It. I'm striping in Silent Movie by Tanis Fiber Arts, and then I have a darker color by Vicky Brown that'll come at the end. So I'm excited to keep going with this now that I've actually moved on to Clue 2, and the shape is starting to emerge a little bit more. So I'm excited to see what it will end up looking like at the end, because where I thought it was going, now it's not going there. And so I'm like, oh, all right, now I'm intrigued again, like what's gonna happen. So yeah, you can look again. It is done.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. So, and then I already showed you my podcast whip. So that's pretty much all I think I'll be like really head down working on this week, because I have several things I would like to cast on, which means I need to be a good girl and get some other stuff bound off.
Yeah, mommy. I'm so excited. This love. I set myself up to knit this project, and I put the bag beside me. I press it out kind of flat, and then I just knit, and I look over it. My little man. Okay, this is my next whip.
Oh yeah, I was like,
what is that? Yeah. Yes.
I want it right now.
I didn't think I was going to cast it on yet. So last week I said, or maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, I said I have some space in my brain to cast on another one of Temu's Adventures on the Wrong Side. I just love this pattern. Like, I just love it. Because it's not straight vanilla. You know, my brain, I'm really introverted. So spending 3 days cooped up in a house with 7 other people made me a little bit mad, crazy. And it'll take me a little bit for my brain to fully decompress and process all of that. So that's why I couldn't quite work on the new test knit for Temu yet. But I couldn't, and I didn't want to just do socks. I did a lot of sock knitting at your house because that was easy to do with being around 5 kids. Anyway, so coming home, I'm like, I need something interesting, but I need something, I don't want to stare at the pattern. I can't do that. So Temu gave me this gigantic cake of mini skeins that are all tied together, arranged by
Stitch Together Studio.
Yes.
So I around the time that I ordered the magic cake maybe around the time that I finished my first sample of the Adventures on the Wrong Side, which I had used a magic cake from Chelsea Yarns. I was like, I need all the magic cakes. So I went on a little hunt and found this one. I think she said or they listed it as it's various neons, all hand dyed by Stitch Together Studios, are all from their yarns. And I'm just so excited to finally see it knit, because I did actually try to start a new Adventures on the Wrong Side with it, and got a little bit into it, and then was just not feeling it at that moment, only because there were so many other things I wanted to work on. So it's just been sitting, but it keeps popping into my head, and it's just it's going to be so fun when it's done. My other Adventures on the Wrong Side is really fun, but this one's going to be really, really fun.
Yeah.
There's at least one stripe you can see when you look at the top of the cake that's got stellina in it or sparkle in it. So it's just going to be a party in a shawl. And it makes me so excited when you keep saying that you really love that pattern, because I really love that pattern. I just it's everything that I want in a shawl project. It's easily adjustable. Mm-hmm. You can use literally any, you could make it all in one colorway. You could make it and just play up the fact that it's changing textures.
Yeah.
You could with mini skeins, but it's really, I just found it really enjoyable to knit, really fun to knit, because testing out stitch patterns that you might not otherwise get a chance to use because they're a little bit different, and no long purl rows, because that's one thing that's really holding me back on this project is the purl sections are so long.
Right.
And it'll look gorgeous when it's done because it'll really show off the yarn, but it's just not, I don't love the long purl rows. So this project, it's there's no long purl rows, but there's also very little. And if you want, you could make it no big sections of garter.
Right.
So like, you know, I kind of did it like it's stitch pattern and then garter and stitch pattern and garter. So for a magic cake, it's perfect. You just switch when the color switches. Like you don't have to worry about like counting stitches. You don't have to worry about like counting repeats or keeping track. Like, you know, if you were doing it all with one color, maybe you would keep track. Maybe you just switch when you feel like it and just go with what, you know, I'm bored with this. Now I'm going to switch to something else. And each one that you've made, you've done a little bit differently. Like, you know, played around with like, oh, maybe instead of doing garter, I'll like break it up and do like something that's like stockinette but edged with garter. Maybe I'll do more of the eyelet repeats or what. Like, it's just, there's so many things you can do.
That won't happen with this one.
What?
This is a mindless knit. So the in-between sections will be garter.
But that's what I think is so like fun about it, is that no matter how much you put into it in terms of like switching up the patterns or trying different things or whatever, playing around with it, it's still going to look amazing.
Yeah.
And, you know, you were saying to me like, oh, I don't know, this yarn might be a bit busy for this stitch pattern, because it's definitely like not highlighting the stitch pattern as well as it could. But
you can see when it's like most, like it's a couple rows of white.
Yeah.
And it looks, you know, it's really beautiful. But with the stripe, it's kind of interesting. It just doesn't show off the stitch pattern as beautifully as, I might have my other one.
Yeah, it doesn't show off the stitch patterns as well as like the Madeline Tosh one too. Like the bits that are variegated are so lightly variegated that you can
what a difference, eh?
See the stitch pattern, right? But because the colors are so crazy, it would distract you from the stitch patterns anyway. So now the stitch patterns are just there to make it like a more interesting knit, to add a bit of texture. But when it's all said and done, and I put it on my body, you're not going to go, oh, look at that, how that yarn doesn't play with that stitch pattern. You're just going to like, look at this
so different
shawl that just looks amazing. Like, oh my gosh, I just
need more hands. I can't show that.
No, you can see.
It's just such a difference, hey? Like, but again, like it's still an interesting stitch pattern, even though like the pink striping in there changes a little bit. It still looks like I did something different.
Yeah. And I think it just makes it more enjoyable to knit than if you had knit something more plain to highlight the yarn, you know? So it's good for those kind of projects where you're like, I don't know what to do with all these little minis or all these little leftovers. Join them together into one giant cake and then just knit. Knit your buns off.
That's what I'm going to work on right now.
Yeah. Anyways, any other whips? I have some future knits to show.
This is really fast. I don't have to say much about it. I just went while at Tammy's house. Oh, I worked on leg warmers. But we need more mohair now.
Oh my gosh.
And then the only other thing I worked on, well, like we said, I helped you with your bind off. The only other thing I knit were these Regia. I know this all wound up funny.
For a second, I thought they looked like little baby socks or something. I was like, what are those? I never saw those.
Oh, that's the waist yarn. I was like, what is going on with that? I ordered more 2.5 needles yesterday because I'm like, it's just killing me to not have waist yarn. Like these are just hanging out right now. And of course I ordered Chagu. So anyways, this is the only other thing I worked on at Tamu's house. So the Regia Perfect Moor.
Yeah, I think the color was called Moor.
I think the colorway is Moor. Anyway, so these will be for Tamu. That's all I'm saying about that.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, future knits.
Except that Jason's like, no, why not them?
Like, you already have ones in the exact same colorway. We're gonna be sock buddies.
Yeah.
Weirdo. Okay, so acquisitions / future knits. So let me do one acquisition first that has nothing in it. So I ordered this from
Cute.
Crochet One Knit Two. She did these up to raise money for the Humboldt Broncos.
Okay.
So I was like, oh my gosh, I absolutely have to have that. I have wanted the hockey beavers for a long time because it like tickles me that beaver is like one of the national animals of Canada. It just makes me laugh a lot. And they're cute. Like cartoon beavers are always cute and real life beavers are kind of cute. So Hockey beavers just make me laugh. It's very Canadian and for a very good cause. And there were so many makers who were doing amazing things to raise money. And this was my way to contribute and have something that will remind me, not that I want to remind myself of a tragedy, but remind me of how this community of knitters and yarners and crocheters all pull together and just do what we need to do to support people, whether we know them directly or not. So I will leave it at that. The inside's really cute too. And I love that. So I have a couple of these little, like, I don't know what you call them, like yarn basket, sock basket type things, but I really like that she's added the snaps. That is like genius to me, because sometimes, like I had that one that I was using recently, I think by Jess Hendry, and I liked it. I was using it for my cowl, so it definitely wasn't the right project for this little yarn basket that I had. I was using on the weekend, the kind of like navy, just like plain one. I was using it for my cowl, so the cowl was way too big to fit in the thing. I just wanted like a quick something to pop it in. But because there's no, like, I feel like with snaps, I probably could have crammed it in at the beginning and snapped it shut and it would have kind of stayed, whereas it kept like kind of wanting to pop out. I like those open ones too, because I think they're kind of nice. Like if we're going on a road trip or something, because we do often drive to visit family, I can have a bigger project bag that has something large and then pop this inside with something small. And it's just like one less thing to kind of carry or juggle. But I also like the snaps because I think I could pop this one into my purse and I won't have to worry about anything falling out. So it's really cute. I really like it. So crochet one, knit two. She's Canadian. And a rock star like all the other people who used their skills to find a way to raise money for this really tragic event. So there's that. And then another acquisition.
Okay.
The bag's not really the most exciting part.
Okay, I was
off their logo. The knit kit is back.
I don't know.
Like, I haven't even taken it out of the box because I just wanted to show you guys how amazing this packaging is. So
what's the knit kit?
The knit kit is this amazing piece of equipment. I used to have one. I still have it in purple.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
So the knit kit, as it advertises on the box, is all your essential knitting tools in one little compact package. So it's perfect to throw in your knitting bag. You don't have to pack all the different things into, sorry, I'm trying to open it. You don't have to worry about packing all of these tools into separate or into a notions bag or whatever that then goes into your knitting bag. So it's really nice and compact, and it's pretty well everything that you would ever be looking for in your knitting bag, and even some things that I never look for. So all the features. It has a row counter or a stitch counter or whatever you want to use it for. It has a repair crochet hook that's actually double-ended. So it's a little thicker on one end, a little thinner on the other end. That just slides into the edge here. On this side, it has a thread cutter, which actually this new one slides out way easier than my old one. My old one is still really hard to get out. So you can see it has a little compact blade right there. So nice, you're not going to cut yourself with that, but if you just need to snip something, it's I have used mine for yarn when I don't want to pull out the full scissors. Depending on the thickness of yarn, it doesn't work as well, but for a fingering weight, you can, give it a little tug and it'll work. It has the tape measure, so my previous knit kit I've had for years. I don't even recall exactly where I got it from. I think a store, like a yarn store in real life, but I don't remember. But this is what broke on mine. So the end came off of mine. Okay. And partially from kids trying to play with it and partially just from regular wear and tear, the end kind of came loose. So the tape measure is no more. So I do still use it, but the tape measure is what I used the most. Okay. So it's then I have to carry this and a tape measure, and it's just, now it's one more thing, So I like that everything is together. And then it has this compartment on the back. So there's a needle gauge you can see right on the door of that compartment. And a sticker holding it shut.
I have a quick quest to interrupt you. Quick quest. Okay. 1, why didn't you order 2? And 2, what the heck, dude?
Quick question. So then, I honestly wasn't sure if you would want one.
I just ask me because you text me all day long about everything, and why didn't you just ask me?
I'm sorry. Then it has point protectors.
Oh my gosh.
It has a few locking stitch markers, which I never really use the plastic ones, so I'm not gonna lie, I'll probably replace them with my
You can
own.
pass those on to me. I love the plastic ones. I don't know why.
I always snap them. Any ones I've had. Now, I've never had opaque plastic like this. I've always had clear plastic ones, and it's like I'll use it once, and the next time I go to open it, it's like I'm the Hulk or something. Maybe my fingers are stronger than I realize. I'll try to go open it like a safety pin, and I just go, and it's destroyed. And I'm like, and now it's completely useless. So there's a couple of the locking ones, a couple hard plastic hoop stitch markers. There's a darning needle, and then there's folding scissors that are super sharp if they're exactly the same as the old ones.
How do you close that back up?
So you open it all the way, and then the blades go down into that nook on the handle.
Okay.
And then push it together. They're stiff because they're brand new, and it's the first time I've used them. But
they loosen up a bit.
Yeah, I think on my old ones they were a bit stiff when I first started using them too. But and then they fit into like a they fit into their own spot right there, and then everything else was in there. So it's like the perfect little thing to pop into your project bag. So I actually brought up a project bag. Oops. What's going on here? There we go. So I brought up my Riv Creative project bag because she had pockets on the inside, and it fits like perfectly into one of those pockets. Nice. Whereas if I had a Notions pouch in here, I'd have to put it loose in the bag, and sometimes actually you get like yarn tangled in zippers of Notions pouches.
Yes.
So it's like I like Notions pouches for bigger project bags, or when sometimes if we're going on like a longer, like a weekend away, I'll have project bags inside a larger tote, and I'll just put my Notions pouch into my tote. But then here's the secret extra thing that I loved about my knit kit that made me like extra sad when I wasn't really using it as much anymore. When I'm not sure where it is, I pick up bags and I shake them, and then I can hear it. Whereas sometimes with my other Notions pouches, depending on what's in them and where things are in them, I can't hear them, which sounds really dumb, but it's actually really important because I have way more project bags on the go than I do Notions pouches with stuff in them that I actually need. So being able to just do that is like, now I know exactly where it is. I just pick up a bag, and then I go, oh, it's in that one. And then I also just thought about, because one thing I was thinking, like, what's one other thing that it doesn't have that I actually might need? It doesn't have a pen. Mm-hmm. Which I'm like, I don't know where on this you would add a pen, because I always need a pen. Like, even when I think I don't need a pen, I will find a way to need a pen. So what I do like too is that it has this hole, which you could use for a keychain, which I actually think when I got my first one was purple. When I got my first one, it has sync chain kind of chain through there, if I'm not mistaken. But you could totally get one of those like mini keychain pens.
Yeah.
Keychain, like I have Sharpie, like keychain Sharpies that are highlighters. Like if you needed that, you could totally keychain it and put it in there. And then again, keep everything that you need all together. So it's back. A new, I believe it's kind of like family owned now. Like I think it's like mother, daughter, grandmother, or something like that own this company now. Their customer service was fabulous. We were in contact a little bit because I was having trouble navigating their website, but they totally helped me out and told me what I needed to do. And
where are they? US?
They're in the US. So for us in Canada, obviously that's a bit of a consideration in terms of price. They haven't been reopened for all that long, is my understanding. So they are going to be doing wholesale at some point. They're just not quite there yet. I really love this packaging. I think it's really cute. And I like that on the back, it shows you a map of your whole knit kit with all the features, so you know what you're looking at. Because I feel like when I bought my first one, I just bought it, and then there were things that I was like, I didn't even notice that there was something like the repair hook. I didn't even really notice it until I'd had it.
Oh, okay.
The other cool thing about their site is they do have some kits on their site. And if you buy a kit, I think the deal's still on. If you buy a kit, your knit kit is 25% off. So of course, I needed to buy a kit because it's cycle.
Oh, cool.
Oh my God. So I already had the pattern, but they had kits. And I'm weak. I already had bought the pattern. I knew I was going to make it at some point. Then I saw the kits and I was like, yep, done. So it's, well, obviously it's Andrea Mowry's The Shift, which is kind of like a cowl.
Love that.
Thing. Just totally like a cowl that I would.
Is there brioche in that?
No, but it's like, I believe it's like color work. Like it's stranded color work throughout is my understanding, but I could be wrong. So this is the kit that I got. I think they had a couple, 2 or 3 different color combinations for this kit and several other different kits, different patterns. So I got Melancholia, which is this colorway. I would say it's like a dark foresty green teal with a little bit of like a purpley mauvey color in there. This one's called Tangled Up in Blue. So you can just see it's blues with a little bit of green. And then this one is Robin's Egg. So it's got some light blue, a little teal, a little brown beige. Oh my gosh. So this is my, it was like acquisitions / future knits. Yeah. I cannot wait to get this on the needles. And this pattern, like I really like the paper quality of it, that is kind of like a little book. As I said, I already had the pattern on Ravelry. I didn't really need a copy of the pattern, and then with the kit, they also sent a bag that's their little drawstring project bag.
Yeah.
So, it's nice to have a little complete package. And as I said, the customer service was fabulous. I highly recommend the knit kit. I am super stoked that they are back. Yeah. And I think they had 2 colors. I think they had black and teal. And they said I think they said they will be, trickling out new colors here and there. So yeah, it's a worthwhile investment if you are like me and always have multiple project bags on the go and never enough notions pouches to fill them. Because sometimes too, like I'll get a notions pouch, but then like now I need to get all the things to go in it because I have things, but then I don't always have like enough complete things that I want to carry around in public. So yeah, that. And then one other future knit, oops, sorry, dropping boxes on the keyboard. One other future knit I'm going to be test knitting. Kate Celine has put out a pattern, or not, she hasn't put it out, sorry, she's having testers knit it. So I'm going to test this for her. I'm very excited about that. I've never made fingerless mittens.
So there's no thumb even?
No.
Okay.
I've never made like a wrist warmer, sorry, not a fingerless mitten, a wrist warmer, because fingerless mitts usually have the thumb. I've never made wrist warmers before, but lately I've been thinking about, like, I actually think I would wear them.
I keep trying to say it. It's a sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah, but I feel like I would actually wear them. And I like that it's got like the color work in it, the dots.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a really fun knit.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to knit or cast those on at some point today. Oh my goodness. I didn't pin my shawl and it keeps not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all.
Cool. Do you have the yarn for that then?
I don't know. I think I'm just going to go dive in my stash and see what I can find. Because I think I just need 50 grams of my main color and 50 grams of my spot color. But she said you could also use like scraps. So I just have to think about what I might want them to look like.
Yeah.
Versus what I have available. Because I definitely have lots around. I'm just deciding if I'm just going to try and like do it all with scrap or if I'm going to maybe do the main color, like cake something, and then so I know the main colors will match, and then do the spots with scrap. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. I started looking through my stash, but then we needed to get ready, so I was like, oh, I'll just worry about it later.
Cool.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Is that, I feel like I had something in my mind. No, I don't know.
I was thinking there was something else oh, I know. And we totally never finished talking about it, so we might have to cut a chunk of this conversation.
The cow, next cow.
We said we were going to tell people about the cow. We were together all weekend and never talked about it. I don't know.
So, well, just a reminder. Okay, so we would like to start planning for the next cow. No, we didn't talk about it, but whatever. We can just reiterate that we want to do the next cow we're going to do will be a summer garment. It doesn't matter. We're not going to all knit the same pattern. It just has to be, well, we said this one's going to be an early summer garment. So it doesn't have to be short sleeved or sleeveless. It could be a crop sweater. It could be a cardigan that you know that you would wear in the next few months. Let's just say right now, cast on will be May 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And finished by, what do you think? We'll say June 15.
Okay.
That's
sounds good to me.
Next week.
Yeah, whatever you think you will wear when you're done. So like not a sweater that you intend to wear next winter. Something that you know you will wear.
That you could cast off June 15th and you wear it the next day.
Run around.
Yeah.
Showing off your knits.
So hopefully by next week, Tamu and I will actually have the pattern that we want to use for that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going to do.
Like I said last week, I probably will do that Sweater Freak Knits. Viking.
Oh, I want to, in my head it's called Sleeveless in Vancouver.
That's it.
Yeah. Viking. And she has a different one that's Viking something. It's just,
but I think I also really liked that because it had Viking in the name, so I don't know why. I haven't even been looking at that Viking one. I have no idea where that came from. I clearly need to look at it again because my brain's trying to tell me something. Anyhow.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure. I think I really want to knit that l'envelope, and I feel like I would wear it as kind of like a jackety sweater, you know, early morning taking the kids to school, need something to put on and don't want to wear a full jacket.
Yeah.
But then I started looking at, or somehow I stumbled upon, I don't know what her last name is, Allison something. She was part of Holla Knits, and I think one of her Ravelry shops was called like Sweatshop of Love. And she has this really cute pattern. It's like I don't know if it's classed as like a tee or like a sleeveless top kind of thing, knit in the round, and then it has like this like kind of like flying geese sort of like chevron-y eyelet thing going down the front. I don't even know. My words are gone. It's like lace, but like in like these little V's, upside down triangle type V things going down the front. She knit it in like this really cute, like golden yellow color. I thought, oh, that might be cute too. I don't know.
I just liked your dance move.
Yeah. So
it's called the Flying V because we're Canadian, eh? We have a dance now. We just need like some seagull music to like, or eagle music.
Eagle music?
Maybe would make more sense if we did a Canada Goose type of music. Ha. Ha. That could be the back beat.
No.
No?
Just no.
Well, that was pretty golden.
You have a number one hit there?
I think so. With a dance move.
It's going to be the next dab, or
we have to get on this before
Nene or whatever song.
We have to get on it before we release this episode because someone else will steal my idea. Next week, top of the Canadian charts will be.
Won't even be like Canadian
charts. Knitter going.
It won't even be like Canadian charts. It'll be like Cardi B doing the flying V. Like it'll be someone like really cool that you're like, that was my idea. And we'll be like, no one believes you because why would she steal your ideas?
Yeah. Okay, so for next week, think about if you'd like to join us for the our next cow, which will be the summer garment cow. Something that you could put on your body, something that you plan to put on your body.
As soon as it's done.
As soon as it's done, it's totally cool to double dip and be a part of our cow and someone else's cow. And we will have prizes hopefully going out this week for all of our winners. I think there's 4 total from last week that we announced.
They'll definitely go out this week. It just got thrown off by being snowed in on Monday, trying to catch up. So it's just a matter of me putting it all together and getting to the post office.
Yeah. And otherwise, just keep being yarny. All the yarny things.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week, unless you have some other sounds you want to make, Tamu. Anything else you want to? One more.
You have to do the noise now.
I was like, I couldn't think. I couldn't think of it.
I didn't say do any noise.
I couldn't think of the. I can't think of a Canada Goose right now. All right. We will never sign off. What else do you want to talk about? Come on. Okay. Don't turn off your thing yet. 'Cause I want to do a picture.
Okay.
A screenshot. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yarn on, people.
Yarn on.
Bye.